everybody, and welcome back to another Sunday Sessions video. So if you're new to the channel and you don't know what this is by now, pretty much myself and Luke will run through a couple of markets that we were watching in this coming week. So pretty much a few markets that we believe have the most potential to trade in this coming trading week, and what we'll do is we'll explain our bias and our outlook on that market so that you understand how we are looking to tackle it, how we're looking to profit from it. And if you want further updates and continued updates through the trading week on how we are changing our analysis, how we are looking to enter in on the market given the analysis provided today, make sure you are involved in the Learning Lounge. Or if you want to take it a step further, potentially even look into the VIP chats. Everything there is explained in the description or on the website. So make sure you get involved so that you can really see how the Sunday Sessions videos and the analysis provided can be taken and used to turn you potentially into a great analyzer and trader of the financial market. So starting off here, I am looking at the euro to the US dollar. So what I have noticed within this market is obviously we have been trading bullish for some time since we saw that 1 day invalidation. And I did then take this as a 4-hour bullish impulse. Now, this is probably something you remember me showcasing in previous episodes because something I've been watching for a while. I was hoping and expecting to see a pullback into one of these 4-hour demand zones. Obviously, we see that has not happened. And since then, we have seemingly continued creating some more fractalized bullish structure where we've seen that we did have some breaks lower, which was why I assumed that a bearish correctional wave was inbound. However, this only came to mitigate a hidden demand zone left over in this region before making its next move higher to create a higher high. We then had a pullback within this region, initially reacting from that zone, but then a further pullback down, which just missed out on the demand zone here we were watching. We've then since had a move higher begin until we've come to create a new higher high once again, and we are holding within this region. So late yesterday, or for me, late Friday, I identified this. Now, I was identifying this zone because I saw the potential pullback that could happen into either really, but mainly this one. We then had the fundamental news release at 1:30 p.m, which was the NFP, so non-farm payrolls, obviously a highly respected fundamental from the US, which is known to cause mass market volatility upon release. We see that coincidentally, after I provided this analysis into my VIP chat, price then pummeled all the way down, bled out into this zone where we saw a perfect reversal break of structure, tap back into a fractal zone where price then took off. So if we take a look at that on the 1 minute, we can see we had some great potential for entries here where we could have got involved on that. We'd always account for spread. So maybe looking around that region. And then I would partial up that high, take profit potentially all the way up here. So potential there for a 10-hour trade. It seems like it is literally running in, 10-hour. So very nice profit potential. And my bias is the resumption of bullishness longer term because I believe that we are targeting this zone right here, this buy to sell region. I believe that that is the lowest possible target that price may reach. So if we're going to see continued bullishness, it is likely that price could meet reversing this region. Therefore, if we are getting involved in buy positions, we can look to place that take profit target at this region with the expectation that that is where price should go following our higher time frame bias and analysis. So I'm expecting continued bullishness. Obviously, that doesn't account for the fact that there could be a small bearish correction to come and mitigate some of these zones before making that move higher. And it also doesn't account for the fact that we could still see pullbacks into these regions before further moves up. You know, this is all things that need to be accounted for. But longer term and as an overall standpoint, I'm much more bullish than I am bearish inside of this, hoping to see the mitigation of this zone up here. So another one I've been watching pretty closely is the pound yen. Again, another one that I've been watching for some time now. Ever since we had that 1 day demand zone tap in the scheme of this structure, we see that I believe it was on the 11th of November. 11th of November, we had the tap there, had the reversal break of structure. As price continued trading higher and I saw some breaks emerging to the downside, I thought, right, I'll identify some demand zones with the expectation that we might see the reversal, continuation higher, and we see that we have actually had a reaction to each one. Each one we've tapped into, we have broken structure to the upside, giving partial profit potential, given that you got involved in a position there. We see that we've now traded down to the lower or the bottom of the three zones that I'd like to see reactions from. We have tapped into that, broken structure again to the upside. So what we now need to see in order to confirm the continuation of bullishness is some bullish structure created. So, impulse correction. We want to see a couple more cycles of that trend emerge. So, impulse correction, we want to see another impulse come and break the high, another correction that reacts to a demand zone, at which point we can say, right, demand's clearly in control, we are creating bullish structure, there's much more of a chance, or it's much more probable, that price will remain bullish longer term. So therefore, I'm going to identify this zone, clear sell to buy, hope to see the mitigation, and then reversal, creation of the new impulse to break the previous high, therefore giving me that confirmation that bullishness is emerging. And to be fair, I think that's probably going to be enough confirmation from that point to start looking to get involved in buy positions. So just a reminder that if we do manage to get involved in any longs, very likely looking to hold that all the way up to this region. So we're talking about, from that zone, 750 pips, give or take. So some very large upside potential. Now let's just head on over to the gold market, so XAU USD. Now we see that our bias has pretty much been flipped here. We did have the reversal in this region after we tapped a 4-hour supply zone, which I thought, okay, we're going to see a reversal longer term. Had that break structure to the downside, signs that we are reacting to supply. We have then, however, come up, liquidated this zone, made that move higher, showing signs that we are now invalidating the structure down here. Therefore, we can expect a pullback, which I do believe is going to hold bearishness longer term, but rather than it being impulse correction, so on and so forth, and we're just seeing this as overall bearish structure, we can see this entire downtrend as a singular move. The accumulation down here, we'll see an uptrend now as a singular move back up, which should reverse lower and protect this high before making its next move lower overall in the higher time frame scheme of things. So what that means we can do is, if we look back through in these regions, we can start to identify any points that represent unmitigated orders that as price trades higher, it may reach, find enough supply in that region, and therefore see a reversal. I mean, one that sticks out to me straight away is a clear buy to sell candle there. In my own time, I will go through that and identify and refine zones to a much higher standard. But as of right now, this one is sticking out to me. We're seeing that at around 1970.45. So we can just type that in, with the expectation that this new emerging uptrend that we shall see is hopefully going to still remain bearishness longer term. And the reason why we think that is because we have broken major structure to the downside. Therefore, I am expecting the continuation of bearishness. So back to the point, just expecting to see price now deliver an uptrend with the purpose of mitigating positions in this region, liquidating all of these sellers, and obviously just delivering us with a full market cycle. So obviously that's the longer term bias. As of right now, what we can start to do is look inside of the recent moves and say, right, well, is there actually any demand zones we can use that we can potentially get involved from? So we see quite a clear sell to buy there that we've just tapped, acting as a demand zone. And then I'd also argue the position down here, we could say acts the same as a demand zone. This is at 1753, so we'll draw that in. 1753. We'll be looking at that for potential taps. If not, we've seen the reversal there. If we even look on a lower time frame, quite a nice point here where we've reached that, instantly lost volume and volatility, where we've seen that reversal, market starts to move higher. So we could see a longer term move higher now from the reversal here. If not, as I said, we're prepared because we have this identified and we know what's happening within the higher time frame. So that is pretty much going to conclude my section. That's going to conclude the analysis that I'm providing, and pretty much those are the three major markets I'll be watching in this coming week, given the fact that in my eyes they are delivering the best price action. They are following my bias the best out of all of the markets I've analysed. So they are the ones that I'll be following the most closely. But regardless, what I'll do now is I'll pass you over to Luke, who is going to run through a few markets himself, showcase his analysis. So thank you for watching mine, and I hope you enjoy Luke's.
How are we getting on, people? I hope you're all okay. I hope you've enjoyed James's analysis there. He's gone over some brilliant pairs, some brilliant points. It'd be very interesting to see how price plays out this coming week. What I'm going to do now is just run over my analysis, some of the pairs that I am looking at, and give you my rundowns and some potential areas that we can actually look to trade from. If you do go on to enjoy my analysis and you've enjoyed James's analysis, remember to leave this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family. All the support you guys provide is very much appreciated, and we are forever grateful. Now, without further ado, let's just jump straight into today's analysis. So, first market I have on screen here for you all is Great British Pound to the US dollar. I am looking at the week time frame. We are seeing a very bearish market. As we can see, this market is extremely bearish. We want to be looking for sell positions longer term, okay? Now, just zooming into more present data, just the most recent impulses and corrections, we can see how we have a correction here, followed by an impulse. We have another correction, another impulse. So now we can see that evidently we are within a corrective phase. So we want to be looking for buy positions. Now, whilst we are looking to buy into this market, we also want to be finding areas that we would be looking to close our buy positions and areas that are holding enough supply to finish the corrective wave and start the next impulsive one. So how do we know that we are within a corrective phase? Well, if you have watched my 10-step guide to price action, you'll see that we have actually had a complete break of structure to the upside. This is obviously our impulsive wave. We have multiple lower lows and lower highs, this marking the last lower high. We have now seen price surpass this, which tells me that this, was once deemed as a protected high, has now been broken above. So that in itself tells me that we are no longer following the laws of bearishness and we are actually following bullish structure. So just based on this break of structure to the upside, this has told me that price is trading higher. Now, what we can do and ways we can look to get involved into this market in buy positions this week is go down on time frames. So I'm just going to wait for my charts to load up here. And we need to find areas that have been left unmitigated. So demand zones that we can look to actually place buy positions from. So we would look at this structure, nothing screaming out too much. We have got inefficiency here. So this could be a potential area that we could look for. This looks like it nearly was tapped in with this. This has definitely been tapped in with this. So potentially here, potentially here. This has already been tapped into by that. Everything else looks to be cleared, so potentially here or potentially there as well. So let's just go down again on time frames. Now going down to the 4-hour time frame. Let's see if anything stands out. So this is quite significant for me. This is what is standing out more than anything for me. So this could be a very good area to look to buy from, as this is a last sell to buy candle. So I'm just going to get rid of this line here. So this could be a very good demand zone that we could look to potentially buy from. Is there any other inefficient structure? That looks to have been cleared by this candle. This has come to clear this. This has been cleared by this here. Yeah, so after looking at this entire corrective wave, there is only one demand zone that stands out for me where there is a lot of inefficient structure above it, and there is an unmitigated candle. So that is this zone specifically. So what I want you all to do is mark out this zone for yourself. So it's 1.1359 and 1.1416. So that's the area we need to be looking to potentially buy from. So all we need to do is wait for that pullback, for price to tap in, provide us with a fractal BOS to the upside. That would tell us that this fractal correction coming lower has finished and the next impulsive wave within this corrective higher time frame wave is ready to take place. Okay, so mark this area out for yourself, wait for that pullback. Now, can we look to sell into this before we buy? Absolutely. We would just want to see a break of structure to the downside to confirm that this move lower is going to happen. We would close those sell positions around here and look to place those buys. So definitely in this coming week, I will be looking for shorter term sells and then longer term buy positions on the Great British Pound to the USD market. Now moving over to the Euro USD market. Again, this is another very bearish market. It's providing us with lower highs and lower lows on the extreme higher time frames. What we have seen as of recently is a break of structure to the upside, this being the last structural high within this bearishness. So this is telling me that we are no longer following this bearish structure, and we are now putting in bullishness. So we are now putting in a higher time frame correction. So again, how do we look to capitalize in this market this coming week? Well, like with Great British Pound USD, we want to be looking for longer term buy positions, which means we'd need to look for an area that price can pull back into, a demand zone, where we can then look to buy from. Now, in terms of a take profit target, I have seen an unmitigated candle, an unmitigated area, should I say, right here. We can see that we have these last buy to sells that have been left unmitigated. Again, this stands out a lot for me. We could then go down on timeframes and refine this. We can see how price never actually taps into it. So if you want to mark this area out for yourself, these are the coordinates on screen. So this could be our final take profit target, where we would then see price put in its next higher time frame impulsive wave lower. But for the time being, we want to be looking for buy positions. So like with the Great British Pound to the US dollar market, we want to go down on time frames, looking at the 4 hour. Just get rid of this. Looking at the 4 hour, seeing if we can find any unmitigated candles. I can see a lovely demand zone here. Should be able to refine this more so. Is there anything else? Potentially this, potentially this. There doesn't seem to be anything else there. So let's just go down time frames again to the 1 hour. See if anything stands out. Let's have a look. That's been tapped into by that, so that's been cleared. So no, I would just say this potentially. Yeah, so I would say just this zone here, just this area that we can look to potentially buy from longer term, taking us up into our supply zone, where we will then be looking to sell on the extreme higher time frames. So again, I'm going to mark out this zone as a potential area to buy from. So mark this area out for yourself, wait for that pullback, and then we can look to buy into this market. Again, can we look to sell before we buy? Absolutely. We just want to wait for a BOS to the downside. Now, because we had fundamental news come out on Friday just gone, it was the NFP, we have seen a big dump in the market, which has left us with a structural low that is quite low down. So realistically, I would want to see this low break. So it tells me that price is actually following bearishness. Then I'd wait for the pullback, and then I'd look to get introduced in those sells, obviously before closing those sell positions and placing buys from this zone here. Again, when we do place our buy positions and we do look to buy into this market, our final take profit target would be somewhere up here. So again, mark this area out for yourself if you like. Look on those extreme time frames, looking at the 4 hour and the day time frame, and you'll find this area yourself. We can look to refine this zone by looking within this structure, and we'll probably notice how there are more specific ways and more specific zones that we can highlight within this higher zone. But I'm just being quite simplistic, quite basic. I'm just looking at the extreme highs and the extreme higher time frames just to give you these zones to look out for, and then you can look at refining them closer to the time. So again, I am looking to buy into this market. We just need to wait for price to pull back, giving us that refined entry, and then we can look to trade price higher up to this supply zone here that I've got marked out. Okay, so now looking at the XAU USD time frame, this market looks as though it is following bearishness. Now we've had an extreme break of structure. This was the last structural low that was created within this bullishness. We have seen price break that. There's a lot of analysis there. So you'll see how we have created more lows in this market, and we've now actually seen a double bottom form. So I am expecting price to continue bullish into one of three supply zones that I have marked out before we see price continue in that bearish manner. Again, I'm going to mark these supply zones out for you now. So we've got this first one is 18.7. 18.7 and 18.12, so that's the first zone. So we're looking at around 18.7 and 18.12. as you can see there. So you want to mark it out for yourself. This second zone here is between 1872 and 1879. So 1872 and 1879. And then the third zone is between 1937 and 1959. 1937 and 1959. Perfect. So those are the three zones that I am looking to potentially trade from in terms of place and sell positions. Before that, we can then obviously look to place buys into this market. This is evidently bullish. We've seen multiple breaks in structure to the upside. This being the last structural low. This being the last structural lower high within this bearishness. Price has obviously come to surpass that. Broken multiple structural highs within this bullishness, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. So as I said, mark out these three zones for yourself that you'll see on screen here. Finally, moving over to AUD USD. I've been waiting for this market to tap into my supply zone so I can look to actually sell. I did highlight this as a potential buy zone maybe 2 Sunday sessions ago, and price has played out perfectly. We are seeing price currently trading us 180 pips over the course of 10 days, sorry. So it's generated with some brilliant returns. I am wanting to see this bullishness continue into this supply zone, where again we'll be looking to sell longer term, trading us lower into this market, creating new lower lows within this market. Okay. Now my reason for this is because if we zoom out, we'll see how this market is clearly following bearish structure on the extreme time frames. Price is literally just finishing, putting in this corrective wave before trading us lower once again. So that is my analysis for this Sunday sessions video. As always, I'm quite quick and quite brief with my analysis. So I want to get straight to the point, give you zones and areas to look out for. I didn't mention this zone, so if you've not marked out this zone, mark it out for yourself, because this is where we will be looking to sell from. But yeah, very quick, very brief. I like to be straight to the point. If you want to see me trade and be more in depth with my analysis and give you specific reasons and deeper meanings to my analysis, then join the Learning Lounge group chat. It's completely free. I post all my analysis on there. Follow me on TradingView. Look at being part of the VIP chats. All of my in-depth analysis is on there. I send out videos on a daily basis, analysis on a daily basis. So you'll get to see everything just in greater detail on those platforms. Sunday sessions is purely here to give you zones and areas to look to trade from so you can profit with us. I don't feel the importance of going into great detail as to why I am finding or why I'm looking at these zones. If you want to understand how I trade, I have plenty of videos within the YouTube channel, and again on our Learning Lounge group chat and in our VIP services. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's Sunday sessions video. As I said to you earlier, if you have done, leave a thumbs up. All the support you guys provide is very much appreciated. We want to try and reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. That would be an amazing goal for us, as we only started this channel last October. So little over 15 months, we would have gained 1,000 subscribers. So that's a big achievement for us. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do. And yeah, this has been a Sunday sessions video, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.